appropriately gave me the name for first round frenzy, the first week of the NHL playoffs. But some other stuff happened with teams that weren't in the playoffs, and more notably here, Glenn Gulutzan of the Calgary Flames, and quite a few of his assistants, if not all of them, I believe probably all of them. After 2 seasons, Glenn Gulutzan has been released from the Calgary Flames as their head coach after missing the playoffs this year. Where do you guys see the Flames going from here with their management, with their coaching?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of pretty good coaches available, and maybe that's what they're thinking. Trotz, if Washington doesn't come out of this first round, I think Trott's probably gone for sure. Yeah. Something tells me. They're not getting any farther with him. He's probably not the problem, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's obviously something else, because, they've had how many different coaches, and yet they get the same results in the playoffs. It's not over. It's only 2-0 in the series, but
yeah,
at this point, they're playing right now in overtime, but maybe they're waiting for somebody like Trotz. Along with some other teams, I think are waiting for Trotz too, possibly.
Yeah, because they got there are very good coaches.
Alain Vigneault's pretty decent coach. He took Rangers pretty far.
Yeah.
Semis 1 year and finals is 1 year too. So
exactly.
I'm just curious where Calgary's going to go from there. They obviously have a game plan, but
seems kind of in a very short window of opportunity, I thought.
Yeah.
1 year, nobody really expected them to be in the playoffs. And then, this year
they were supposed to be
pretty high expectations, and then didn't live up to them, and then
that's true.
Just like that, gone.
Yeah, that kind of seems. Well, it's what is this now? McCullen's been there 2 years.
I believe this is his second year. This will be his third year coming up, I believe.
No, I think he got hired the same year as Babcock, correct? And this Babcock's third year already.
Oh, possibly.
So say he's coached 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. He's being evaluated right now.
Yeah.
By the Oilers. Maybe the Oilers are waiting for
a big guy too, big name.
We could say Trotz again, but it's hard to speculate at this point, right? What if Washington pulls out of this series and they go really far? Then Trotz is off the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. If you go back a few years, Claude Julien was in the same spot when last time Leafs played Boston.
Yeah.
And Boston came out and had a good run, and he kept his job for another couple of years.
Yeah, and that's just it. But, yeah, and obviously on the other coach, Ken Hitchcock retired from coaching after
for a second time.
Yeah.
After 22 years of coaching. So,
yeah.
So he's off the table, as we know.
that was the joke. Yeah. Ken Hitchcock comes out of retirement to coach the Flames. But I think he's got a job. He's got a position.
I think
upstairs in the.
I think the last couple seasons, I don't know, his heart isn't into it as coaching, for Hitchcock.
He had checked out, essentially.
Kind of, sort of, almost seemed like that a little bit. With St. Louis, it was he's getting nowhere, and then he, quote unquote, retired, and then and then all of a sudden he's like, I'll give it one more go, kind of thing with Dallas, and and he fell short, with the Stars again, and then so you know what I mean, and now he's thinking, I think my coaching days are done. I think I'm gonna retire.
Just I heard, apparently coaches spend most of the flights and stuff looking at videos.
Yeah.
And just, not really taking a break from the job. And he's just getting tired of that.
Yeah.
Traveling around.
22 years. That's a long time to be not always yelling at players, but you're the boss of players, really.
Yeah. 20 years is a long career.
Well, yeah. Well, that's as long as a player's career, some players' careers, I should say.
This just in, I guess, on the Barry Trotz thing. Washington Capitals, second overtime. Lars Eller scored and beat Columbus.
Oh, okay. So, shoot. So, 2-1 now in the series. But,
Ovi basically not guaranteed, but said they're going to win these 2 in Columbus and tie it up.
He obviously believes in his team, but
can't guarantee you 2 wins, but we're going to get 2 wins.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I guess on that note, jump into some playoff stuff, or you got some other stuff to add here?
No, I'm ready to go. Playoff talk. I mean, there's quite a few injuries actually coming up.
But, I mean, yeah, as we go through the series, talk about some of the series so far this week, we'll mention some of the injuries that obviously affect in that series. But
oh, for sure. You know what? Let's start Colorado-Nashville.
Sure.
I mean, Nashville's been playing their good style, but, I mean, Colorado's hanging tough.
Colorado, like...
They come flying out of the gates.
Every game.
Yeah.
The first 2 games, I don't know if you guys knew this, Colorado scored the first shot both first 2 games.
Oh, weird.
Apparently, that's what I've seen on the TV there.
And they chased Rene in Game 3.
So, I mean, Colorado, like, I think their speed at times, like McKinnon's speed, obviously, I've seen some pretty
nifty plays here
by him, but yeah. And, like, every game, the winner scores 5 goals. I mean, it's another decently high-scoring series so far.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's a very strong defensive series for sure.
Which is weird because Nashville has really good defense, yet they let in 5 goals in Game 3 and 4 in Game 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean... But it makes some grip. I mean, it makes some really good hockey.
Oh, it is very entertaining for sure.
And we'll mention that Nashville's goalie Pekka Rinne got announced for finalists for the Vezina, so...
Yeah, with Vasilevsky and Hellebuyck, yeah.
So it's kind of
I've heard
side note there, but
I've heard Vasilevsky's basically a shoe-in. Is what I've heard. He's the forerunner, but who knows, right?
Yeah, and it's on season play, so it's not like any of those guys can build their.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Rinne had 43 wins and had one of the best save percentage,
but okay, say you're a guy. Do you think the votes happen for the Vezina? It's kind of off topic a little bit from the playoffs, but do you think the guys that vote for, say, the Vezina, for example, because we're talking about it, do you think they vote before the playoffs and like this just came out now, or do you think they vote after the playoffs? Because let's be honest, if I'm a guy voting and it's after the playoffs and say Nashville Predators won the cup, you can't tell me in the back of your head a little bit you want to pick Pekka Rinne because they won the cup. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not judging by season at that point. You're kind of going, well, this guy did win the cup, but no. But season-wise. But it's hard to think about the season if you just seen them win the cup. Like,
yeah.
You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Or same with Vasilevsky, same thing. If they won the cup, or Winnipeg, Hellebuyck, I mean, it's the same thing. But, yeah, I mean, exactly. I have a feeling this is all... been picked already. The winner's picked. They're just waiting for awards night. Do you think?
I think so. But I mean,
so then why announce like
the finalists? I don't know.
Huh? Gets us.
Well, I guess they have to.
Gets us talking for the podcast, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Whoa.
Well, it's not like they can't do that for the Art Ross. All right, here's the finals for the Art Ross. Yeah. I wonder who's going to win this year.
Art Ross is determined.
Yeah.
And
the Rocket was
Rocket, yeah.
Sorry, McDavid, you had 10 points ahead of the next guy, but
you lost a vote.
Yeah.
But but going back to Nashville, Colorado, I mean, they're sticking with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I picked them to win 1, so they've won 1.
Yeah, I said Nashville in 5-2.
But realistically, anything from here on is a bonus. I mean,
it'll be interesting to see if they can tie it up.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be kind of...
Which I don't think is out of the question.
No. It's not now. Not now, especially you see what they can do chasing a Vezina candidate out of the net.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, man. You put it that way, you're like, oh, maybe they do. I mean, it's one game. It's only one game.
Yeah. But it was a game at home. And Game 4 will be at home in Colorado.
It's neat to see these teams that are down 2-0 in the series and they go back to their home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Toronto's another one. And like you said, Colorado down 2-0. And Minnesota was the other one, yeah. And they were down 2-0. I mean, now they're down 3-0. No, 3-1.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, the injury to Zach Parise didn't help.
Down 3-1 going back into Winnipeg.
Yeah.
can't see when I don't think Minnesota's going to win.
Too good.
No.
Winnipeg plays really good in that building. Well, that building's very loud. But yeah, I guess going into that series,
I think the Zach Parise injury, he has a fractured sternum and is considered week
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. I know they said consider week to week because you know how playoff hockey is, right?
Yeah, they'll play through injury, yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I don't even know quite where the sternum is. I think it's
that was in.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. And Dustin's pointing to himself.
Right here.
Yeah, can't you see that, fans? It's midsection.
I think it kind of holds the ribs together. I was told. I don't know, but Winnipeg won the first two, and then Minnesota kind of blew them out. And I was like, "Whoa, maybe Minnesota's gonna kind of tie this series up." But
yeah,
and it's not. I mean, they only lost 2-0 tonight. Minnesota did, so it's not like they're.
Yeah, I believe they're both power play goals. Or no, sorry, they're both by Mark Scheifele.
Yeah,
or Mark Scheifele. Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean that series, Winnipeg seemed pretty dominant. I mean, I thought Minnesota would be a little bit better. Like I picked Winnipeg to win, but along with a lot of other people probably, but
yeah, I mean they're bigger and they're stronger. You can see it. I like Minnesota's emotion though. I like their chippiness. Guys like Daniel Winnick and.
I have a question, Reed. Going back to relates to this series, but going back to coaches firing. Do you guys see Bruce Boudreau going? He's another guy that hasn't really. He's been with Minnesota for a few years now, and he can't get Minnesota any farther than
I don't know.
I mean, I've just heard kind of things. I think I've seen some stuff like them saying, Bruce Boudreau is another coach that really hasn't helped them get any farther.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's tough to say because is he on? Let's be honest. When we were talking about coaches a couple weeks back here, Bruce Boudreau's name didn't come up. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't on the rumor. Maybe it's because his team was in the playoffs. But Barry Trotz is in the playoffs, and his name has come up a little bit on, sports shows on satellite radio and so forth. But
exactly.
Kind of shifts into that mindset where it's like, okay, you've made the playoffs. Now what can you do?
Yeah,
and then you just start thinking of it that way. It's like, oh well, he hasn't been that successful in the playoffs. Then maybe, it's time for.
Curious to see. But yeah.
Well, coaches have such a fast turnaround nowadays.
There's only a handful of coaches now that are, let's be honest, elite coaches. That when they sign a deal, they're there for long term.
Yeah, exactly.
Coach Q, he's been there 10 years?
Yeah, but missed the playoffs 1 year, and
they question him almost,
and he's almost out the door. Yeah. It's almost like, what have you done for me lately? Almost.
I think. I don't know. I don't want to say Chicago's gonna have a bounce back year, but they still have some pretty good players, so they might bounce back. But I guess going back to Minnesota, Winnipeg. Not a lot to say. Wise. Myers is hurt.
Yeah.
Also,
he fell pretty hard. I think it's his shoulder.
Yeah. And he's out. He was out tonight.
Yeah.
He's out for Game 4. And you said Preezy's out for 6 to 8 weeks, but.
Yeah.
But do you think if Minnesota has Ryan Suter, little different or not much? Winnipeg's just too good. It doesn't really matter.
It would help. It would take a lot of minutes off Matt Dunba for sure.
Yeah, Matt Dunba's been just eating minutes. Like he's like their guy, and I don't know. Don't get me wrong. He's been really good, but it's a lot to put on. He's a pretty young defenseman still. It's a lot of minutes to put on somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Minutes could be eaten up a little bit on Suter's, behalf.
Yeah, exactly.
He was playing, so. Either way, I think Winnipeg just too strong for them. But
I think so. I think that either way, Winnipeg's going to wear them down, and I'm going to say next game's their last. I don't think they're going to get out of Winnipeg.
No, that. To be honest, that city kind of, I think, just is going to eat